We have been contacted by an androgynous race called the Janai.
Androgynous?
I recommend we launch a probe.
Make it so.
Probe is launched.
Full recovery, all right.
Probe is no longer transmitting.
What happened? Where did it go?
Oh. Alrighty then.
All right.
The sudden disappearance of our probe suggests
fast
that we
talking.
may have found the first instance of what is called null space.
Well, that's where the emitters come in. We shoot out a series of photon pulses into the pocket and chart where each one disappears. From that, we should get a fairly complete outline.
Seems like he's putting on a voice. It's a little bit off than as usual.
He's trying to mirror. You know, people who have good people skills, they mirror the other person.
I do that. I don't have good people skills.
Yeah, I was
but
going to say, that doesn't check out.
I do the mirror part. I'm not good at it.
Craig was my instructor.
He had a good student.
He. Commander, there are no he's or she's in a species without gender.
Oh, they're just full blown. Okay.
I do not think there is really a translation.
Well, then I'll just have to muddle through. So forgive me if the stray he or she slips by, okay?
No, we're not going to forgive you for that.
It's very healthy. Helps to keep you warm on cold Alaskan nights.
We prefer to stay warm by sleeping with a friend.
I'm your friend. They're really pushing the Alaskan gimmick lately. He's brought it up like 2 or 3 times.
Tell me about males. What is it makes you different from females?
Oh, God.
What kind of woman do you find attractive?
Who I can talk with and get something back. But the most important thing of all, she has to laugh at my jokes.
Good evening, Commander.
Good evening.
Please take my place, Craig. I have to be going.
Uh-oh, she's like, enough of this human propaganda.
Or I wonder if that's their partner.
Oh, that's a good call. Yeah.
Trying to bang my person, bro?
Well, you see, I have this alien checklist. Never met an alien I couldn't bang.
Sure, the last time I did, almost had them take over the entire world and ship, but I'm determined.
But I still banged.
This is working. Initiating computer task handoff.
Commander, tell me about your sexual organs.
We're kind of in the middle of something.
I'm interested in your mating practices. What is involved?
We can show you those. You come to the right guy.
The sexual act brings a closeness and intimacy.
Mating is a long ritual for us.
Just go back there and bang.
We have been taught that gender is primitive,
Primitive?
less evolved.
Maybe so. But sometimes there's a lot to be said for an experience that's primitive.
Those primal instincts. Riker can't beat them.
As much as the human race has evolved, the Riz
Remains.
is always underneath.
Inertial dampeners are failing. Hang on!
Oh!
Enterprise, we have an injury. Transport Soren directly to sick bay.
Oh, thought they're going to be stuck in the pocket. And then meet all the people from that TAS episode.
At the table?
Yeah, the round table.
You put color on your mouse, and your eyes, your cheeks, your fingernails. The men don't. That's true.
Wow, Dr. Crusher adding a lot here. Really helping them out.
All right.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Oh, Dr. Crusher at the poker table.
Oh!
Let me get this straight. You're saying it's a woman's game because women are weak and need more help.
Yes. The Janai. They bother me. Wild cards. It is difficult to know what is exactly in my hand. However, I will open with 50.
Look how small the cards looked in his hands.
Yeah, nice touch. I didn't know we had Boomer Worf over here.
Well, if any character's going to be a boomer, it's
Damn.
We should see if we can balance this engine. Can you access the
Bro, put her.
starboard manifold thrust?
Put the seat down. Go ahead and lay back.
You got a better angle if you get on top of me here.
How would that help?
I'd like to tell you something. Something that's not easy to say.
What's that?
I find you attractive.
That's normal.
And I hear that all the time.
Some have strong inclinations to maleness, and some have urges to be female. I am one of the latter. But in front of Crichton and the others, I must be careful not to reveal myself.
I'm sure they know.
I have had to live a life of pretense and lies. But with you, I can be honest. Please, don't say anything. Just think about it.
I mean, think about what? Like, what would be the plan? You're gonna escape these people and live with Riker? Like, what?
Unless he just wants to do it, and that's it. But
Yeah, I will admit that I thought the performances of this species the whole episode has been pretty flat and bad, but they were pretty good in that scene.
yeah, I mean they're flat people.
Yeah, it's hard.
You'll have to
thing
give him
do.
continuous readouts on energy consumption. I can't even.
Whoa,
predict-
wait a minute!
Whoa! You can't just grow a beard. Wait a minute. What?
We don't have any idea what condition the shuttlecraft crew was in, so we'll all beam directly to sickbay.
I'll notify Dr. Crusher to be standing by.
You can't just do that, LeVar.
And knowing Geordi, how is this not like an episode plot of everyone making fun of him? Isn't that something they would do?
Yeah.
Not like making fun of him with bad intentions, but just like, poking fun at him.
Yeah. I'm not waiting until next season.
I think you just showed up to set one day and they're like, okay, LeVar, sure.
Isn't this great? Isn't this great?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Go to Mark 1, please.
We can give it one more try. More than that, we won't have enough power to get ourselves out of here.
Got
Oh,
'em.
nice.
They're dead.
I need medical attention quickly.
Okay, stand by to transport to the Enterprise. Here we go.
Oh.
We're down to 9%. We don't have enough to get back.
Just sit here, we'll lose all of our systems within an hour, including life support.
So they're just burning this shuttlecraft, basically.
Energy shift of that size, it will overload the phase compensators. The shuttle...
We'll explode, but if we stay here, we're dead anyway.
Damn.
See you in a minute.
Whoa.
Yeah. Yes, I'm here too.
Nor will be eager for a first-hand report. We should return to the surface.
I will see you later tonight, Commander.
Just Picard. Just. That's somebody's just standing there in
Yeah.
a scene.
I have no place in this plot.
I'm just here. I have no advice. I have no remarks. I'm just happy my crew's okay. Do you need me? No, we're good.
Nice, interesting set.
I wondered what had happened to our guest of honor.
I just needed some air. It only takes so much of those social functions, and I need to breathe a little. I was raised outdoors. I've never been very comfortable in crowded rooms.
Outdoors being Alaska.
You might have missed it. I mentioned that earlier. I heard you.
Let me take you on a tour.
Thank you. It's kind of you.
Oh my god.
Leave her alone, bro.
Ooh. Oh man, that's some intense kissing.
Come in.
Never guess what I did.
It was stored on Earth and just recently turned up.
You know who any of these people are?
No, some of the pictures have names on, but most of them don't.
Who's Abraham Lincoln?
I wonder who they are and if they could be related to me.
Well, this one looks like you.
Classic.
I've met someone who's becoming important to me. Nothing will change between us, will it?
Of course it will.
Of course it would.
You're a part of my life, and I'm a part of yours. That much will always be true.
Jerry Seinfeld and Elaine in a different universe.
Kind of interesting that, like, of all the hookups they've each had, this is the time that they bring it up. I mean, I guess maybe they're just trying to show he really cares for this person instead of it just being a hookup.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, interesting. Also, it's like, she's not going to be here after this episode, so what?
Yeah.
Hello, I'm here to see Soren.
I've killed them.
Where
And
is
we're
Soren?
going to make sure it doesn't happen again.
Answer me, where is Soren?
In custody. And there's nothing you can do about
She's
it.
going to that psychotetic treatment.
You are aware of the charges against you?
Oh my god.
Do you intend to dispute them? Well, what is your response?
She had to wait for him to walk in. He laid on his cue.
Commander Riker, these proceedings are closed to everyone.
I think I just opened.
Oh.
Nothing happened between us. I ask your forgiveness. I behaved inappropriately.
Is this true?
No.
Oh.
All of the loving things that you do with each other, that is what we do. And for that, we are called misfits.
Real tear.
What right do you have to change us? What makes you think you can dictate how people love each other?
That's all great, but you're still guilty of these crimes.
Denied!
Yeah.
She could go back to the Enterprise, we would give her asylum, you would never have to see her again. That would solve the problem, wouldn't it? You'd be rid of her.
Well, the Outcast.
I'm just trying to find a solution that would satisfy everyone.
We're concerned about our citizens. We take our obligations to them seriously. We have a very high success rate in treating deviants like this, and without exception, they become happier people after their treatment.
Just completely, that whole speech just right over her head.
Mm-hmm.
Take Soren to quarters. Treatment will begin tomorrow.
Don't do this. Soren!
No more, Commander.
Riker to Enterprise. One to transport.
Damn, what now? Break her out?
Credits.
I can't just leave her there. They'll give her these psychotectic treatments. I don't know what to do.
Now it's my turn for a speech.
Are we so lost?
Starfleet doesn't take these matters lightly, Will, and I can't defend you if you go too far. You understand? Put at risk everything you've worked for.
Take Picard, you break the Prime Directive literally all the time. You know what I mean? It's like the one thing I can't stand with him on. It's like he breaks all the time, then as soon as someone else wants to break it,
you can't do it!
Yeah, I can't defend you.
Commander, I have the plan for deploying warning buoys around the null space.
Fine, leave it. I'll take a look at it later.
Yeah, Worf, I forgot about that plot.
That's not important anymore.
Thank you. You're dismissed.
Commander, I am aware of what transpired on the planet's surface.
I was watching the episode.
Are you by any chance considering an unannounced visit? I will go with you.
Hey!
If you order me to stay on board, I will obey. A warrior does not let a friend face danger alone.
Worf, I'm glad you've seen the error in your ways in your comments earlier. That's not the reason. It's only because of the warrior thing.
I don't give a fuck about these people. You are my friend. In fact, I might kill a couple while I'm here.
But just because we have different beliefs doesn't mean we can't work together towards the same common goal.
But I will not be respecting their privacy.
Yeah, Worf, we got it, okay?
I need to speak to her alone for a moment.
Oh, God! What? She went right for it. Oh, dude, this is why Worf wanted to go. He's like, finally, a species I can beat up.
You cannot do this.
I won't let them hurt you. You'll be safe on the Enterprise.
I am so sorry. It was my fault that you got involved in all this.
Oh, she's gonna break up with him.
It was all a mistake, and I should have realized it from the beginning.
What?
That I was sick.
That's not the lesson here.
They already gave her the treatments.
Maybe Dr. Crusher could treat you and bring you back to the way you were.
Why would I want that?
Soren, I love you.
Wow.
Jesus.
Damn, they got these psychotectic treatments are pretty effective. Damn. What, a day? A few hours?
Any repercussions for beating those people up?
I didn't know when to tell them we would be there. Is our business with the Janai finished?
Finished, sir.
Okay, well, at least he was going to wait for him to do what he never needed to do.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Engage.
Wow.
Oh,
Talk about a downer ending. I mean, just gotta move on. Wow. You ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. I gave it a B.
I gave it a B minus.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I gave it the B minus because of the downer ending. Otherwise, it was teetering on a C.
Yeah.
But
Well, you ready to listen to two cisgendered people talk about this?
I think you and I, two cis white male men, are the most qualified subjects to speak on this subject. This episode was very a topic of conversation, definitely in the world today. Very topic-centered for sure. Very uncomfortable watch, and it's interesting how they took the story and they flipped it. They made the non-binary people the villains of the episode. Not the villains, but like what cisgendered people are in our world and how they treat,
The absence of gender is the accepted norm.
Yes.
And those that are outcasts are the ones that feel gender one way or another. It doesn't matter. It's not about feeling the opposite gender. It's just about feeling any gender at all because it's been basically abolished in this society. I want to give credit to the show and the episode. This was in 1992, wasn't it?
Yep.
So, I wasn't alive then. I know that obviously, transgender people didn't just start existing. Like they've been around, but in terms of like mainstream stuff. Like, I didn't hear about it as much growing up, and so for this to be in the early 90s addressing this kind of thing now, a part of me thinks, with it being the 90s, maybe also just like homosexuality, was part of that as well as what they were going for.
Especially with the whole cure aspect, for sure, yeah.
Yeah, and things like conversion therapy and all of that. So I think that's wrapped up in there too. Obviously, like, homosexuality was a much bigger topic at that time, kind of like how gender is today. But yeah, definitely watching it today for the first time gives it an interesting context. I wonder what it was like watching it for the first time back then. But even from that standpoint, whether it's homosexuality or gender or whatever it is, the idea of the show tackling an issue like this, I want to give it credit for that. I can't really speak to how well they did it. Maybe we'll have some patrons that can give their thoughts on how well they did it, that maybe they can relate to a little bit more. But for me personally, it's one of those issues that it's like, well, to me as just a stupid person, it's kind of like, oh yeah, okay, that's it's an interesting thing for sci-fi to do, but it doesn't affect me personally, so I can't really like judge it, But yeah, I thought it was an interesting concept.
Yeah, I got what they were trying to say, and I actually do like the way how they flipped it according to the real world. So maybe regular people who maybe aren't aware, they can look at this. How can they, treat her like that? She's a person, she's a woman. It's like there's nothing wrong with her. So maybe they can like tap on their head, like, "Hey, stupid! That's what they're doing to us."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm glad they very interesting way to do it. Because at first I thought this is an episode, supporting, probably or advocating for these rights, and they made them the bad guys. I'm like, whoa! But it's like, oh no, I see what they're doing here. That they flip it so regular people can look at what I just said.
Yeah, and what I thought was very interesting was they end up revealing in the episode this alien is feeling more female urges, so it kind of solves itself. But in the beginning of the episode, we were making our typical Riker jokes the whole time, because even though this alien species doesn't have gender, the character is played by a woman. So we're making these jokes. Had that character been played by a man, even though that species didn't have gender, we probably wouldn't have been making those jokes. So even our own internal bias, by seeing that it's being played by a woman, and knowing that Riker is typically portrayed as straight, we think he would want to have sex with that alien. But in theory, they're genderless. So if it was played by a man, wouldn't he also either want to have sex or not have sex with it in the same way? I mean, he eventually says, "Oh, I figured you were more feminine," so it makes sense that he'd be attracted to Soren.
Yeah,
so
and they don't all look alike either.
But I did have that thought before they revealed that. I did have that thought, like, oh wait, we're making all these jokes like about having sex, but this alien doesn't have gender. Like, who knows what Riker would think about it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's very interesting. I think that the whole speech aspect is very much like, okay, now I'm going to give a speech. And if people think that came off as preachy, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, I was critical of the same thing in the Barbie movie that you joked about, right? It's like, just let me figure out the message. You don't got to tell it right to my face. But I will say, and I will give credit to the actress there, I don't know if you have it pulled up, who played Soren.
Melinda Kulia?
Yeah, I will give credit to Melinda Kulia. I thought she was great in that scene. This whole species is kind of flat and stuff throughout the whole thing. I get it, that's their gimmick. I didn't really like it, but in that specific scene, she even has the genuine tear roll down as she's talking. So great job in giving that speech. Beyond that, though, the episode, I mean, it's not going to be one of my favorites or anything. Not that I had anything wrong with it. It just wasn't a huge level of investment. It was definitely a moral lesson episode, I guess.
Yes, a moral lesson episode that didn't hit the other bars to make it a banger. I mean, we gave it a B minus, you gave it a B, but make it like a, it was like, I understand what they're saying here, but there wasn't much else besides that to make me downer ending. I love a good downer ending. After the death of Law, I love Data staring out the window, and this time we got it with Riker staring out the window. Love that scene.
Yeah, it snuck into B for me because of just the overall, just kind of the overall maturity I felt of the episode. Of not being afraid to get complex with it and not cheaping out and, oh, Riker and Worf go down and just kidnap them and save the day and everything's all right. Like, no, they're too late. This has already been done to them, and it's kind of like, damn, that's it.
Sucks.
But also looking at it from a sci-fi lens, Picard said, like, this is against the Prime Directive. It goes back to, we've said it before about Klingons, other cultures, like, this is the way they do things. Who are you to go down there and say, no, that's wrong because I'm attracted to this person. I'm going to steal them,
Yeah.
So it handled it in a very interesting way, which made me think of, that really elevated it for me.
Yeah, I'm glad there was the attempted kidnap and the fail. Because I was expecting when Riker went down there and busted into the courtroom scene, I expected, oh no, he's going to give a Kirk-like speech. He's going to change their whole way of life. And then, see ya, bye. But no, they didn't do that. And I'm glad they didn't. Because if they did, I don't even know how I'd feel about it. If that the whole species just changes like that and becomes all accepting and, because it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a day. That's why I love Half a Life so much with the guy who had... Timothy. That's what, maybe one day, but not with me. And I sent you a meme about that today. I won't tell you the context of the meme, but we talked about Timothy today.
Very similar. But a much more like, at least that kind of had a happy ending with Major Barrett going down to the planet with him, even though he's going to die. But here it was just straight up, damn, that sucks.
Straight up horror, yeah. It's not even the same person. That terrifies me. I often think about memory and, my brain being messed with, and you wouldn't even be the same person coming out. I don't like that all the time. And thinking about like conversion therapy, I watched a film called The Imitation Game with Benedict Cumberbatch. It's about, I think it's the British. They're working on this machine to figure out to decode the secret codes the Nazis were sending, and he was gay. Similar, it's like, this person did this great thing, stopping the Nazis, and because, sorry, you're this, because of who you love, gotta, chemically change you, and it's messed up, it's horrible.
Yeah, and I think Soren here puts it, perfectly in their speech about it, and, saying, we're just like you, we live just like you, we aren't tormenting anybody, like, basically just leave us alone, which is like kind of the mantra I live by, is, just like, do whatever you want and we'll leave you alone and leave me alone, and everyone just do whatever they want and just don't bother anybody else.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like, they're not, but from what we're presented anyway in this episode, they aren't bothering anybody by having these urges. It seems they meet up, they find who else kind of matches them. She finds the one who has the male urges and they hook up or whatever, and it's like, I thought it was handled very maturely, but not with kid gloves. Like it was not black and white. It was very. I mean, it definitely wants you on the side of Soren and Riker.
Yeah.
But it is not like, peaches and cream and everything's happy ending. So.
Yeah. And I'm glad they didn't try to look at it. At no point did the people on the planet were they ever shown in a good light. Really, so I'm glad they didn't do that. Well, actually, it's actually better for this. I mean, Soren's like kind of lying to herself in the beginning. Well, actually, we advanced beyond gender. It's actually primitive, and I think she was lying to herself to try to convince her not to go through with this, but she did. But at no point, there's definitely morally gray episodes where even the bad side has some. Oh, that's a really good point. But I'm glad at no point in this did they even entertain that idea, to the point where the person at the end with the headdress was just a fucking idiot, and just everything they said just...
Yeah.
Okay, great. Move on.
With that being said, though, in terms of obviously doing this treatment and stuff to these people, that's bad. That's absolutely bad. But the idea of a planet in the future having a society that's completely genderless, I think there could be an argument to be made about that if it's something that naturally came about through evolution.
Yeah.
Like, I love... things about men and things about women, but also at the same time, I think, who gives a shit? So it's kind of like, let people do whatever they want. So if there were people who wanted there to be a genderless, they live in a genderless society and they all wanted that, cool. Like, I'm not saying that's like inherently bad. It's just then if there are people who are in that society and don't want to do that, then let them not do that.
Exactly.
Just do whichever way you want.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. The way they went about it is bad. Yeah.
But it wasn't like they came on board and everyone in the Enterprise was like, a genderless society. This is horrific.
Just Worf. Yeah.
Yeah. Just Boomer Worf.
Yeah.
Which I guess makes sense because he's a Klingon.
Yeah. Very odd scenes in this one. The shuttlecraft scene, like where they go and rescue those people, is kind of just okay. That's their little sci-fi adventure for the episode. There was a poker scene in this episode where did they even say a word? Like two. He said 3 words.
Yeah, and it was kind of out of place in the sense that like they're obviously talking about the themes of the episode, but trying to relate it to this poker game. That works so much better when it's the opener, when it's the hook.
Yeah,
like if that was the hook of the episode, but it wouldn't really made sense as the hook here either. So it was just kind of an odd juxtaposition.
Oh, this is a female game. By the way, this. this genderless race is coming aboard.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
It's
okay.
like, I mean, Dr. Crusher even had to say, I just had this talk in an earlier scene. So there are problems with the episode. It's just, but not problems that like make it bad. It's just like, it doesn't elevate above. Like, it's just like a fine episode, and I appreciated some of the messaging, but at the same time, also, if someone said the messaging was laid on a bit thick, I also couldn't disagree there. So it's just this very like interesting
it
episode.
definitely wasn't the case where the message got ahead of telling a story, because it still told a story. It wasn't just, here's my message, good luck, hopefully there's a good story somewhere here. They did have a good story here.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful ending. And do we have to talk about LeVar Burton's beard? Like,
like
what the fuck, man? It's not even in an episode of his. He just brings it on for this one.
It would be legendary if he never has a beard again. And it was just this one scene in this episode he has no part of. That would be hilarious. He read the script. He's like, oh, we're talking about gender. I'm going to grow a beard.
Let's imagine all the showrunners just, Jordy, we just took promo pictures and sold merch. And
just Jerry Taylor who wrote this. All right, LeVar, that's great. Can we get...
And the director was Robert Scheer. He's been around before.
Measure of a Man.
Well, what a great guy to do with this kind of topic, I guess.
I think the direction was just like fine. Nothing stuck out as like, oh, that's great. It was just okay.
I'm definitely starting to notice more now how silent these episodes are.
Yeah.
It's like really silent, to the point where if I ever want to make an edit, it's wonderful. Because I don't have to, figure out a way to get whatever music they use silence. But yeah, just oddly silence. Troy and Riker's relationship, that Jerry Seinfeld, Elaine type relationship, it's very interesting.
Yeah, just nice that there's an acknowledgement at least, and it kind of puts forth, oh, Riker really does care about this person, so that's nice.
Because the last time we saw anything about their relationship was a flashback in Violations.
Yeah. This is all over the board, and I'm not surprised because of what we're talking about here.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
36% B tier, which is right in line with us, but 23% A, 22% C, 6% S, 5% E, 8% D. This is the most all over the place on the board, but they did land a majority where we were, so kind of in the same boat. Let's see. This one's from Kyle Stewart. Not a perfect episode, but a lot to like here. I appreciate the writers were brave enough to shock us with the ending. Yeah, agreed.
Absolutely. Oh, we haven't seen this name in a while, and with 11 likes too. I got to give a shout out to the Lord. I worked with a friendly, openly gay man in the early thousands that was deeply religious. Think Flanders level of religious. That Flanders, I'm assuming. At one point, he told us that he was done sinning and that he was going to homosexual therapy. His elderly parents spent untold amounts of their life savings sending him to a total quacks to cure him, in quotes. He ended up taking his own life shortly after they deemed him of being cured. I can't watch this episode without thinking of that guy. Sorry to be a downer if this gets read. I've never really been able to share that story any other way. Well, fuck, man. I'm sorry to hear that. That's absolutely terrible.
I'm glad there was a place for you to share it, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, that's obviously we talked a little bit about the connection to conversion therapy. I'm not going to pretend to know a ton about it, but it's obviously stupid and dumb, and anyone who thinks that something like that would be useful in a society is very ignorant. And I don't want to go full bore on, religion bad, but because there's plenty of other reasons that people can have for why they don't like things that are different besides just religion. Religion is just one of the things that people use to justify their ignorance. There's plenty of other reasons. But yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, sorry, friend. This one is from someone with a very timely username. Worf and Riker right again. How about that? Riker follows his balls and seeks to add to his impressive resume. Worf risks violating the Prime Directive as an excuse to help his friend by beating up aliens. Picard remains nonchalant about the whole thing. Yeah, this whole Picard thing, like, hey, violating the Prime Directive works for him when it's convenient. And we even made jokes in this episode, like, I'm Picard, I'm standing here in this scene. All right, scene over.
I also will just say there's like a whole bunch in here that are very, very long. I will read them. I appreciate people sharing their stories here, but it's just we can't fit into the video a lot of these long ones. So I would just recommend, if you're on the Patreon, go check them out, read them. There's a lot of really interesting, different opinions in here, as the voting has been all over the board. This one's from Wrestling with Gaming. I love this episode. A moral dilemma Worf being a bro to Riker after their ordeal and ethics, great speeches, and a rare super downer of an ending. The anti-conversion message is pretty clear at the end too. I know certain people don't like the message here, but it's nuts to me that people will watch episodes like this one and not think Trek has always had a progressive slant in its messaging. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't really come across a lot of people who don't think it's always had a progressive slant. I mean, I've said this before. Media is progressive and it's liberal. That's what it is. I mean, sorry, if you're conservative, you lost. Like, you lost media.
You lost that one.
I mean, there is certain stuff made for that, but it's like, it is what it is. Even back in TOS, it's very, very, very clear. So, I mean, you know, I'm someone who can see both sides on a lot of issues, and even I can obviously admit, like, yeah, that's the point. That's why we have the woke garbage joke, right? Because it's one of the funniest things to me is oh, Disney woke yet again. It's like, yeah, it's 2025. Like, what do you expect? It's like, it's TV and movies. Like, you know, what do you want?
Yeah, it's always been there in some form or the other. Just sometimes it's more obvious and sometimes it's not.
And there's really good, well-done examples of it, and there's really poor, on-the-nose, bad ones. And yes, Disney is a lot of time in the latter, but it's it's like, you know, it's just funny to me, the people, you know, that are like, it should be out completely. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's art. What do you want? It's like, you know what I'm going to say with this piece of art? Nothing. It's like, come on.
Like, you're free to watch. I'm sure the conservatives have plenty of movies on Tubi and all that are, you know.
But even a conservative focused media is saying something, right? Like, it's you know, God's Not Dead is a movie about something. It's not a movie about nothing. It's still trying to have a message. You know, it's just agreeing with a different mindset, but it's like, I just find it so funny, the people who are like, the message should be nothing. It's like, I mean, okay.
So there's no story? There's nothing?
It's like, Star Trek's about outer space. That's it. And it's like, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
But I also haven't seen, I mean, maybe there's a few people out there that think that, but I don't think that's a very prevailing mindset.
I want to say it's the most obvious, popular, I mean, besides Disney, obvious, but progressive and consistent piece of progressive media ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
And progressive doesn't mean good, and it doesn't mean bad. It just means like progressive ideas or the progression of humans as a society. Everyone's gotten so brain rotted because of Twitter and the internet. I don't want to go to full tilt rant here, but it's like, things can just exist and not have to like fit into neat little good or bad buckets. You know, you can enjoy things even if you disagree with them, surprisingly. It's just, you know.
No, are you on this side or are you on this side? Pick your side.
Who am I grifting from?
Season 5 we persevere. Josh and Alex chart the skies, warping forward as chaos flies. Riker's grin, a battle cry. Crusher's brilliance lights the sky. Data's mind a beacon bright. TNG was a relentless spike. Shields up high, we're breaking through. Phases charged, our aim is true. Moonlight twist, the fire ignites. Boldly onward into the night. Warp factor, chaos engine scream. A voyage built on starlit dreams. The fire and flame, the cosmos bends. The Enterprise flies, the journey ascends. Warp factor, chaos hearts collide. With every love, the stars align. Boldly they go, no end in sight. Season 5 takes flight. Anthe's fall to scorching critique. Virtue speeches reach their peak. Holodeck worlds in turmoil turn. Lessons taught and bridges burned. Miner's gift, a master's hand. Picard's command, the voice that stands. Through the madness, one truth remains. TNG courses through our veins. Loving fast, the time is near. Stories clash as chaos steers. Engines roar, the stars ignite. Boundless journeys, endless fight. Warp factor, chaos engine scream. A voyage built on starlit dreams. The fire and flame, the cosmos bends. The Enterprise flies, the journey ascends. Warp factor, chaos hearts engine scream. A voyage built on starlit dreams.